Hey everybody, it's K Good here, and today we're going to talk about car rental business and how we get started.
My name is Marty, and I'm going to be giving Corey a little bit of game on the rental car business since I've been in it for 9 years.
Sounds good. Stay tuned and check out what we do. Show me what you got.
All right, so Corey, I'm going to ask you a few questions, just try to get your head going on the rental car business. So what made you want to get into the rental car game?
What got me started in rental car business is the fact that I was already running a used car dealership, and I came across a few problems to where I had my money tied up too often. So I had customers that didn't qualify for the financing or other challenges that I came across. I picked up cars for people that told me they wanted specific cars, but then when I bought the cars, they didn't come through on the deal. So there was multiple challenges when it came to me being a car dealer. And I happened to be on Instagram one day, and I just happened to see something come down my timeline that was talking about Turo and rental cars and things like that.
Okay.
So as I saw that as an opportunity, I realized, okay, I already run a dealership, so I know how to buy cars and acquire cars. Why don't I try renting out cars, which seems like it'll make more money on a consistent basis. Okay. So it allows me to have those cars booking out daily, weekly, monthly, and that allows me to be able to get ahead, and I don't have to tie up so much money in a chunk like when I buy cars to sell in the dealership.
Okay.
So doing that allows me a lot more flexibility, allows me to buy more cars and be able to actually sustain my business. And the best part about it as well is that I can also take those cars once I'm done using them in my rental car fleet, and I can actually use my dealership and sell the cars. So that's mainly the reasons why I started.
Why you wanted to get it. Yeah, that's great. That's so great. So how big is your fleet?
I had 10 cars. I'm currently at 13 cars. So I added 3 more recently. And the best part about the 3 that I just added is that they're economy cars. And economy cars you can usually buy cash because they're usually inexpensive. And the advantage of having a car that's inexpensive and reliable is that you're able to make more money on your rentals because you're not paying as much overhead. So the cars are already owned versus me leasing them or financing the car. I already own the cars. So each month as the revenues come in, that goes directly back to the cars that I purchased. So say you buy a car for $4,000,
okay,
you're able to take that car, rent it out for $250 to $300 per week. And then once that car rents each week, that can add up to $1,200 to $1,000 per month. 4 months, you have that car paid off. So that's different tips that I did with.
Okay, that's pretty cool. So give me your insight on electric cars, because California eventually 10 years from now, everybody's gonna have to go electric. So what are you gonna do with your fleet then when you have to go fully electric?
Well, the good part, Marty, is I'm actually ahead of that. So I actually have 5 electric cars now.
Okay.
So I have 2 Teslas and I have 3 Chevy Bolts. So I'm actually one that likes electric cars. Some of the customers are apprehensive in using electric cars,
okay,
but that's why I have a mixed fleet, because then I don't have to worry about the ones that don't want to drive those cars.
Exactly.
The best part about having electric cars is it costs less to fill up because your charge is usually about $28 to $30 per vehicle. There's convenience of different locations where you can charge that around the city.
Yeah.
San Diego has quite a few locations and they're adding more and more. So I like to know what's going on and be ahead of the curve, so that way when it comes time for us to be fully implemented, I'm not one that has to backtrack and figure out how to get implemented with electric cars.
Okay.
So that's what I've been working on to make sure that I'm ahead of the game now, so that way I don't have to get ready later. That's one of the best things you can do. If you stay ready, you don't have to get ready.
Okay, that's a good, yeah, that's awesome, man. So let me ask you another question. So what are the challenges you face of having your own rental car business, and how do you overcome?
Okay, well, there's quite a few challenges.
I know there's definitely a bunch.
Damn sure didn't let me talk, so let me talk now.
The main thing is anytime you're a company that's ran by yourself, you have no one else to fall back on if your company's not producing.
Okay.
So I have to do it. I have to get my cars rented out. I have to figure out different strategies to keep people happy and in my cars and wanting to recommend me to other people. Reason being is, if I don't do that, guess what? I still have car notes, I still have insurance, I still have oil changes, maintenance, tires. Any of those things can come up at any moment. So I need my vehicles to stay on the road.
Okay.
So the way I do that is always being personable, always being on time, providing delivery to my customers, taking, different bookings if somebody else canceled on them and I have an opportunity to put them in one of my cars. I try to make sure that I'm always ahead of the things that could come up. And that allows me to be able to be flexible. And the best part about being able to work for yourself is that you do have that flexibility of deciding how you want to run your business versus when you work for a major corporation, you have to do things the way that they want.
Nice.
So that's pretty much the ways that I like to tackle challenges and try to stay ahead of the things that can happen when it comes to the rental car business.
Okay. And you did mention maintenance. So
yes.
How do you go about maintaining your car?
I'm lucky now at the location where I'm at, I actually have a mechanic on site.
Okay.
So he's literally in the parking lot that we use as our overflow parking lot. So he fixes any small maintenance stuff that I have as far as maybe like tire blown out, oil changes. He could do like headlight busted, roof repair.
Everything.
Yeah, he can do all those stuff. And then I also have someone that if I need them to get really detailed, they actually do the engine repairs. They could change out, carburetors, head gaskets, all of the big things that may come up. So the best way to be ahead of that is having a really solid team of mechanics. And that's one of the challenges that you face when you start a rental car business. I would recommend as soon as you think about starting one, start scouting the local auto repair shops in your neighborhood and find out who really knows how to work on the cars that you have in your fleet, especially if you have electric cars. Electric cars, most of the time you're gonna have to take them to the dealership because there aren't too many auto repair shops now that are working on electric cars, but soon there will be more auto repair shops that transition to working on electric cars.
How do you handle the customers? Say they have a complaint, say something's wrong with the car. How do you go by making sure that the customer is satisfied and you build your rapport with that customer?
There's many different ways that I can tackle that. So it just depends what the situation is. So say customer decides they don't like the car for whatever reason it is. If I have another vehicle available,
okay,
I'm gonna go ahead and put them in the other vehicle. If there's not another vehicle available, I will try to educate them on whatever it is that they're finding challenging. So like oftentimes people with electric cars, they don't understand how to charge the vehicles. They don't know where to charge the vehicles. So I give them those key points and I show them the apps that they can use like EVgo and Electrify America, which put them at the right places to be able to fast charge the vehicles and get back on the road. Okay. Now, if customers don't tell you the problems, you don't know how to fix the problems. But that happens sometimes too, to where a customer will keep the vehicle the whole time, not tell you they have an issue with the car, but then when I get it back, now all of a sudden there's a problem.
It sucks.
True. Okay.
So usually when that happens, I tell them, hey, we provided these different steps for you to be able to accommodate the issues that may have came up. We've also provided you contact information to be able to reach out to us if something happens. Just try to reassure them that we weren't ready to handle any of your problems. If you don't tell us the problem, we can't do anything about the problem. But we always try to make sure they have a great experience, even if they, didn't have as great of an experience with the vehicle this time. I make sure that I, accommodate them the next time going forward, just, offer them a discount, things like that. Just make sure that they're happy and satisfied or that they feel heard. Because they're not always going to be satisfied, but sometimes customers just want to be heard,
Sure.
even if they're not right.
Definitely know so. And then guess what? They'll keep on coming back to you.
Exactly.
That's usually what happens. You give them good service, keep on coming.
Exactly. And the thing with that too is that no rental car company is going to be perfect. There's going to be mistakes. There's going to be longer waits. There's going to be different things that cause the customer to not be as happy as they could be. But the best things you can do is try to get ahead of those issues and try to, make them feel comfortable. So offering water when they come in, checking on them while they're waiting in line, making sure they have their reservation information ready to go, their ID, their insurance cards. So one thing that is great to do when it comes to customer service is that you make sure that you reset the clock in a person's head. So this is something I learned a long time ago, to where if someone has to wait a long time for any type of service or product or anything like that and they're waiting in line, it's good to have someone that actually goes into that line and talks to the customers. Because guess what? When you're talking to them and you're breaking down their barriers, they're forgetting about the amount of time that they've already spent waiting to be able to get whatever product or service you're offering. In this case, it's a rental car. People know that the rental car line is going to be pretty long.
Yes.
So
of course,
if you give them that opportunity to forget about the time that they're waiting, you're more than likely to have a happy customer and less problems, less stress.
Say that your fleet's big, you have a lot of people coming to you. Are you gonna start some membership program to where it saves people money or give them an upgrade on a vehicle? Like, how would you go about starting that?
So when it comes to membership, I have looked into a few options with that. And the reason why that may be beneficial to a company as you grow is because oftentimes people like to feel like they're included in something. They like to feel like they're exclusive and they get extra benefits and bonuses.
Yeah.
The part where it benefits you as a rental car company is that most of the time the customers won't take advantage of it. So they may have 3 rentals per month, but then you may see some of these customers only once a month, sometimes not even once a month. It's just like when people sign up for 24-hour fitness. They don't always go to the gym. People have the intentions of going to the gym. They like the fact that they know they can go to the gym, but they don't always go. So having a membership would be beneficial once you have a decent, sufficient sized fleet, because customers are gonna forget that they have the membership. But now when they do come to you, providing that excellent customer service, they're not going to be upset that they just had 4 rentals that they could have used and didn't use.
Damage of the vehicles. Yes. So get into an accident. How are you going to go about making sure that the customer has insurance or they take the coverage that you offer?
So insurance is one of my favorite topics. So when it comes to making sure my vehicles are insured and covered whenever they go out for a rental, I always get the customer's insurance. Even if they choose to take my insurance, I still get their coverage premiums, make sure that they have it. Now, if it's an international customer, oftentimes their insurance won't be valid here, so we don't have the opportunity to do that. But that's why I make sure that you either take the coverage that we provide for you, which is the collision, liability, and those different coverages that you can offer. If a customer takes your insurance, you already know how you're going to handle it because you have your insurance company, you understand what it's going to be. But when you have their insurance and you have to go through their companies filing a claim, the biggest way to make sure that their insurance policy is valid is actually calling the policy company before they leave.
Okay.
Oftentimes people don't think of that, and they think because someone hands them an insurance card that the card is good. But what happens if the customer let the policy lapse? What happens if the customer just didn't pay? You know, different things like that happen, and your vehicle won't be covered if you don't know that the policy is valid. So what I usually try to do is I'll call the insurance company and I'll say, hey, you know, I'm loaning a customer a vehicle and I wanted to find out what type of coverage they have if they're driving someone else's vehicle. And then usually they'll tell you, oh, we cover 20,000, we cover 25,000, 30,000, whatever it is. Now, the thing that you want to make sure is that that coverage is enough to be able to cover the full value of your vehicle. Because if it's not, and your vehicle gets totaled out, then you're still responsible for the difference. So perfect example, if your vehicle is a $25,000 vehicle and the person's coverage is only $15,000, you're out of pocket $10,000.
It sounds like, yeah. And the loss of use of the vehicle.
Yeah, there's a lot of other factors. The things that you have to do is once you get that initial claim in, having that full value covered is the first primary nugget of it. Now, you got to fight for loss of use. You have to fight for diminished value, those types of things if your car is not totaled. So after you get your first allotment, when they give you that first check, that's when you go back to them and you tell them like, hey, I lost this amount of days renting my vehicle. Mm-hmm. I lost this amount of value on my car because now it's salvaged or it has some other type of damage to the title or because the repairs were $10,000 or whatever or more. That's where you're able to negotiate. So you just want to make sure that you get them to accept the responsibility, prove that they were at fault, all of those things first, and then you could come back and work your way up as far as the rest of the money. But that's why it's imperative that you go ahead and check to make sure that the customer has full coverage insurance and that they can cover driving your vehicle.
Nice. Okay, man, you just hit.
Punch, kick, punch, punch.
Hitting everything, and there you go. Boy, I like to hear. That's great, man. So, yeah. I still got one more thing to ask you. So you do live in Southern San Diego, California. So what if a customer would love to take your car to Mexico? Are you going to allow that? Or is there a different type of coverage that you will offer them so if something does happen to the car, what are you going to do?
I don't offer Mexico driving as of now. And if a customer tries to not tell you and just go ahead and take a trip out of the country, this is why you want to make sure you have GPSs on your vehicle.
Okay.
Because if you have GPS tracking devices, you will know where your vehicle's at all times. You don't always have to check, But if it just seems off or a customer is kind of, iffy and you're not sure, you can always log into your GPS system and see exactly where your vehicle is at any time. I recommend having 2 GPSs on the vehicle. So I have one in case someone tries to cut it, and that one's a little bit easier to find. I have a second one which has a starter cutoff. So if a customer is driving my vehicle and they're doing something they're not supposed to, I can cut off the starter, which makes it to where the car will not drive. So that allows me to go obtain the car. I will be able to charge the customer for damages if there are any. I'll charge the customer for repoing the vehicle, plus any daily fees that they incur. So when it comes to protecting yourself against people that do not do the things that they are supposed to or try to go places that they're not allowed, you want to make sure that you have these safety measures and precautions already set up.
Okay.
With Mexico, I'm working on finding out if there's a way for me to keep my vehicles covered and possibly, offer services to go to Mexico or from Mexico to me. Stay tuned because there may be some coverage coming soon, but as of right now, I don't have a solution.
That's pretty good, man. I like it. So also with staffing, how are you going along with staffing? Are you gonna add more people as your business grow, or how are you gonna go about that?
So rule of thumb that I'm learning as far as a rental car owner, as you're starting out, once you hit about 20 vehicles, that's about the time that you need to add another employee.
Okay.
So every 20 vehicles, you need to have at least one full-time employee, because that will allow you to have the coverage, have the people be there when it comes time for a customer to come pick up the vehicles, be able to pick up, drop off, wash the cars, drop, to oil changes, different things like that. So that's my rule of thumb. Currently, I'm at 13 and I'm working towards the 20 pretty soon. So I may be in the market to add another employee pretty soon. As of right now, I do most of the work myself. And then I'm also lucky to be able to be in the vicinity of a couple other people that are in the industry. So they're able to help me out as well and, look after my cars. So that would be my recommendation.
No, that sounds cool, man. See, so hopefully I can join the team pretty soon.
Yeah, we're working on expanding, constantly growing. I like to educate people as I come across knowledge and teach things so that other people don't have to bump their heads and find out the hard way when it comes to running a rental car business or a dealership. Anything that you're interested in, and if I have knowledge, I'm glad to be able to assist, help you guys out, and just help you not experience the things that I did. Like, comment, subscribe, hit us up. I'm at DK Good. This is Marty.
Marty Marvelous.
Yes, let's do it. Next time you guys see us, we'll have more tips and more tricks for you, and stay tuned for all of our videos.
Awesome.